नमस्कार, आर्यन होम्योपैथिक एकेडमी में आपका स्वागत है। मैं हूं डॉक्टर आर्य। इन दिस वीडियो वी शैल टॉक अबाउट evolution of homeopathic repertory. Evolution of repertory, we will, for our convenience, will divide into four parts. The first part is evolution of early repertories, development of middle age repertories, advances in late repertories, and some of the recent repertories. In this video, we shall talk about the early repertories of Hahnemann time. Some of the important repertory during this period, I'll quote here. Glaser, in the year 1833, wrote an alphabetical pocket repertory from Leipzig in Germany. It was in German and it had 165 pages. Roof, in the year 1837, wrote a small repertory, again in German language, but from the Stuttgart, called Systematic Repertory. It was having 236 pages. As I told you, all these are available in manuscript form, well preserved in Hales Museum, in the Institute of History of Medicine. Lafitte wrote a repertory of symptomatology in French. It was published from Paris in the year 1843 and it had about 975 pages. Roof wrote another repertory in 1845 called Repertory of Nosology. Hempel, as I told you, already wrote Bonigussens repertory in 1847. This is the first page of Roof's repertory. This is Dr. Clotter Mueller. Dr. Clotter Mueller published an alphabetical repertory in the year 1848. From South America, from Rio de Janeiro, Mueller wrote yet another repertory in 1849 called Mueller's Repertory in Spanish. Bryant wrote alphabetical repertory from New York in English, USA in 1851. Pochard's characteristic homeopathic remedies repertory was published in the year 1853 from Cothen. It was in German, which I had told you earlier. Senior Lippi, Adolf Lippi, wrote a repertory of comparative materia medica way back in 1854. Schiffer wrote an English repertory from England, which was published in 1859. Grenier of Nîmes wrote a repertory called Homoeolexicon in 2 volumes. It was in French, published from Paris in the year 1874. Constantine Lippi, in the year 1879, wrote a repertory of more characteristics of homeopathic materia medica. Timothy Field Allen brought out symptom register in the year 1880. Herring brought out analytical repertory of mind in 1881. Father Muller from India, from Mangalore, brought out alphabetical repertory in 1885. Richard Hughes and Drake brought out Cyclopedia of Drug Pathogenesis in 4 volumes in the year 1886. 1890, Gentry brought out the repertory of concordances of homeopathic materia medica in 6 volumes. Carlton and Cole brought out classified index of homeopathic materia medica for urogenital and venereal diseases in the year 1890. This is Timothy Field Allen. Talk about his repertory. Timothy Field Allen's General Symptom Register was published in 1880. Timothy Field Allen's General Symptom Register is one of the earliest major work on repertory after Bonington's therapeutic work. It is actually an index to his famous work of Encyclopedia of Homoeopathic Materia Medica in 12 volumes. It contains references of about 825 remedies. This is the cover page of General Symptom Register of the Homoeopathic Materia Medica by Timothy Field Allen. Although it is an important source book, but it cannot be used as a tool for day-to-day quick work of repertorization like that of Kant's repertory or Bonington's therapeutic bucket book. However, in his work, T.F. Allen stood rigidly to what was contained in the reliable proving and toxicological symptoms. Therefore, he ignored and did not include in his index all those symptoms which were obtained and confirmed clinically as Herring. Allen did not follow the anatomical division in his index. Instead, he followed alphabetical order. He has taken the general location followed by sensation in alphabetical order from A to Z, modalities according to time, followed by other again in alphabetical order. This is followed by extension element of the symptom 2. Another important repertory milestone was by Dr. Calvin V. Nair. Calvin Nair was son-in-law of Dr. Herring. Published after Herring's death, 1896, Repertory of the Herring's Guiding Symptom, based on Herring Guiding Symptom. Like T.F. Allen Symptom Register, as an index to Encyclopedia of Homoeopathic Materia Medica, Dr. Calvin Nair prepared a repertory which was an index to Herring's Guiding Symptom. Nair divided the repertory into chapters according to Herring's plan of regional in his Materia Medica. Nair's repertory contains a mine of information of our Materia Medica, and it must be utilized fully in our work of making new repertory. Kant has borrowed a large chunk of material for his repertory from the Herring Guiding Symptom. His degrees of evaluation of remedies has been borrowed entirely from Herring's work. Unfortunately, in the Nair's repertory, the arrangement of symptoms are made very systematically, and after a lot of hard work, it is not amenable to quick and useful repertorial analysis. Hence, it remains unpopular with the profession as compared to Kant's repertory, which published during more or less during the same period. Jar, Herring, Hempel, Hart, and Gentry's work is called as Puritan repertories. As in these repertories, the symptoms are not broken into repertories or divided according to their location, sensations, modalities, or concomitant, etc., as were done in other contemporary repertories. The 2025 period between 1880 and 1900 we call as era of regional repertories. During the 25 years period between 1880 and 1905 is known as era of regional repertories. There were born quite a number of small repertories called regional repertories, systemic repertories, or clinical repertories. Holcomb brought out a repertory called Sensation as if in 1808. In the same year, Dr. Gunsey, Senior Gunsey, brought out repertory of mastitis. Dr. James Bell brought out homeopathic therapeutic of diarrhea. Although it is titled as therapeutic, but it is actually a repertory for all purposes in 1869. Berridge brought out repertory of the eyes in 1873. In the same year, Senior Gunsey brought out a very important repertory called Repertory of Desires and Aversion. Dr. Rollin R. Gregg brought out a repertory in 1879 called Illustrated Repertory of Pain that included the chest, side, and the back. In 1880, Worcester brought out a repertory called Repertory of Modalities. In the same year, Senior Gunsey brought out yet another repertory called Repertory of Hemorrhoids. And in the same year, 1880, Lutz brought out Repertory of Respiratory Organs. Dr. S.C. Allen. In 1880, Lutz brought out yet another repertory called Repertory on Neuralgia. In 1880, same year, Dr. W. A. Allen brought out Intermittent Fever, excellent book for therapeutics of fever. Same year, Dr. S. A. Allen brought out Repertory of Fever. Dr. O. M. Drake brought out repertory on foot safety during this period. Lee and Clark brought out a repertory on cough and expectoration in 1884. Father Miller from Mangalore, from India, brought out first Indian repertory called Alphabetical Repertory in 1885, which was subsequently in the recent time edited by my friend Dr. S.K. Tiwari of Mangalore, India. King brought out a concise repertory on headache in 1891. Arkell McMichael brought out a repertory of digestive system in 1892, and in 1894 Perkins brought out repertory on rheumatism. Vandenberg brought out repertory in 1894 called Therapeutic of Respiratory System. Pulford brought out repertory on rheumatism in the year 1894. Mills-Pow brought out repertory on eczema in 1894. Nair brought out a small repertory on headache in 1894. Yingling brought out a repertory of appendix in 1894. Same year, Nidby brought out a repertory on headache. Yingling brought out yet another repertory, a very important repertory in obstetrics, the repertory on labor in 1894. Holcomb brought out repertory of spasms and convulsions in the year 1895. Douglas brought out repertory of tongue in 1896. Charles C. Cole brought out therapeutics of eyes in 1896. A. R. Morgan brought out repertory of urinary organs in the year 1899. The same year, P. F. Curie, grandfather of Madame Curie of radium fame, brought out a clinical repertory from France. Repertory of special pathology was brought out by Roux in the year 1899. Nash brought out in the same year a repertory of respiratory diseases, and Borland brought out his famous work on pneumonias. Wellesley brought out a repertory of the back in the year 1900. Neidhart brought out a repertory of head in 1906. Minton brought out a repertory of uterine therapeutic in the 1906. The Shed brought out his clinical repertory in 1906. The same year, Oscar Borick, cousin of Dr. William Borick, brought out clinical repertory which became the last part of William Borick's Materia Medica. Dr. Sarkar from India from West Bengal brought out a repertory in 1906. Dr. W.J. Gunsey brought out his repertory of throat in the year 1906. And with this, we close the famous era of repertory compilation, where number of people worked in different ways and brought out very, very important, small, large, big, very valuable and indifferent books on repertory. Thank you. See you next time in the next lecture.